developing a nudge, this is probably the thing in terms of growth that made the biggest impact on my company. And it really means aligning your employees' interests with your organization's interests. There is an economist named Thaler who wrote a book called Nudge. And a nudge is a harmless bit of engineering that attracts people's attention and alters their behavior in a positive way without actually requiring much effort. It basically means it gets people to behave the way you want them to grow your company, and they almost don't realize they're doing it. These are men's urinals. Why am I showing you that? In Thaler's book, The Nudge, he talks about the Schiphol airport in Amsterdam and how filthy it was. And they were going to have to spend tons of money to clean these bathrooms on a regular basis. And somebody had the very odd but brilliant idea of painting a little fly in the urinal. Well, why the hell would you do that? You do it because men like to aim. Men like to aim. And what happened was the Schiphol airport became clean overnight. How much did it cost them to paint that little fly in the urinal? $1, $5? I have no idea. But isn't that beautiful? So that's my favorite example in the whole book, just because it's so brilliant. Our nudge at CJP was called Commission for Life. Commission for Life meant that any employee, whether you're the intern, the CFO, the CEO, who cares? If you introduce someone to the firm who becomes a client of the firm, you get 5% for the life of the client engagement. And you don't have to close the deal. You don't have to do the new business process. You don't have to do anything. Because we recognize that without the opportunity of the first meeting with a client, who cares? We'll never get the business. And when we were small and we weren't getting referrals coming everywhere, this was magic. So this was the difference between, and this actually happened. I had a 24-year-old employee who lived across the street from the CIO of GE Capital. This was the difference between that kid walking across the street one day, shaking his neighbor's hand and saying, I work for this great agency, and could I ever meet the communications person there? Sure. Sets up the first meeting. 24 years old. We get the client. We've had that client for 10 years. Commission for Life, 10 years of collecting. So that nudge changed the mindset of people. And believe me, it's not that they didn't care before. It's that this just gave them that little extra something, something that aligned their interest with ours. What this also did in terms of teaching people the business is once they were collecting a commission for life, they really learned how the business worked. Because our rule is we pay your check when the client pays us. It's a monthly invoice. So all of a sudden, if your client isn't paying, what do? You walk into Jen's office and you go, where's my check? You must have made a mistake. And I go over to the little collections list and I go, GE Capital used to pay in 30 days. Now they're paying in 90. That's called a collection. Let's get it. So all of a sudden, all these workshops on what is a collection, what is a receivable, what is a payable, all comes to life because this person is living the moment in the business. So Commission for Life did a lot more for our company than help boost the bottom line. It educated our people. It also created a watchdog. So if you're collecting a Commission for Life on GE Capital and you don't work on the business, you're kind of making sure that GE team is doing it right. So it's an extra stopgap for me, an extra set of eyes that we're actually doing excellent work. Challenge yourself to think about what's our nudge? What gets people to do what we want them to do, and what's in it for them?